So imagine playing a card game like Magic the Gathering, but you have somebody leading you on an adventure, much like a dungeon master does in Dungeons and Dragons. This is Inscription. I don't really have too much of a history with Inscription. I believe I watched somebody play a very little bit of it before in the past, but the most I knew is it was a card game. But it was something that kind of reminded me of when I used to play Magic the Gathering, the first edition, and a little bit of Pokemon trading card game. Not the Game Boy game yet. That would be the actual trading card themselves. I would play them with a friend of mine, and like I said, I never really collected a bunch. I don't even think we really even traded that much, so I never really got super into it. I didn't get into it until the actual Game Boy game. That I played and I may have beat maybe one or two times, and that was pretty much it for my card game aside from whatever would pop up in Final Fantasy, such as Triple Triad, Tetra Master, and things to that degree. But other than that, I never played a card game like this. And after playing this one, I can say this is definitely fun. But before I go on to that, we should probably go on to what the story of this game is. Now, the story to start with is you're not given much. You are you have your, let's say, your dungeon master character, and he has you in this cabin, and he wants you to play card games with him, as well as he has puzzles surrounding him, all this so as to help you solve this mystery that he kind of has put in front of you. You're not given too much anything else other than he wants you to play, and you're supposed to go onto this map, and you basically have to play these other people he puts in front of you. But other than that, you're not really given too much else of a story other than if you want to escape, then you have to make it to him. Much like basically he's giving you a sets of dungeons you have to go through. He has a whole scenario written out for you, and you just kind of have to play along because you have no real other way of escaping other than practically doing what he says. It sounds a bit odd, but it's actually really intriguing. I'm doing this spoiler free, so I'm not going to explain too much more. I'm going to keep it at that. And it's a good thing that, like I said, I'm not really going too much into the story, but the way the game looks is like really, like everything is really, I don't know exactly how to put it. The design is not something I'm really too familiar with. Maybe people who play Magic and maybe other people have seen stuff like this, but I can't really say I have. I love the designs of each of the cards that you get. Like, I honestly think I know it's kind of maybe blasphemous, but I kind of like it, the simplified version of it, better than say modern Pokemon trading card art, or maybe even Magic the Gathering. It's just because I love the simplicity of it. That when you get like say a Black Cat card, it's like it, it's a kind of a crude black cat looking thing, and the cards are really simple. There's no real color to them. They're all this off white kind of design written on black. It's almost like paper, and that's what kind of makes it impressive because it's minimal as a card, but the design is like you mostly know what you're looking at. There are some cards that I've looked at it and I'm like, okay, so that you say it's what it is, but I can't really agree with you on that one. But everything for it being a card game, the area around you looks really good. All the cards look really good. The playing field, I kind of wish. To me, it's odd that some of them are drawn a certain kind of way or they're made to fit a theme, but it's just you'll see when you sit there looking at the footage or whatever. It's just odd. Like for example, he has like I guess bear claws or whatever in place of where you're supposed to put the cards instead of what a normal person would put paper down. But I guess that's the choice. The music, as you can hear in the background, is kept to quite a minimum. I mean, the music is good. Like as you're playing, you'll hear it, and it'll intrigue you as you're hearing it. But it's probably nothing you're gonna really listen to outside the game much. Maybe besides a track or two. You'll remember these tracks likely if somebody shows you a picture of say, here's the cabin or whatever. You'll immediately think of the music you hear in the cabin or something of that nature. The music is very fitting and it's good, but memorable only to a degree. And that's about as much as I can put as far as the presentation goes. Everything else goes into what the gameplay is. The gameplay is a little bit harder to describe because it's actually a lot. So I'm gonna try to go in some type of order, but I'm gonna be kind of bouncing around here and there because there's so many mechanics here, there, here, there. This goes in this goes in this, and such to that nature. Okay, so But to start with the gameplay, let's talk about the cards first. The cards are built like if you played, say, Pokemon, that you have your energy cards, or if you play Magic, you have your mana. In this game, that is your squirrel. You put down a squirrel on the field. The field is, I believe, it's 12 spaces. 4 of the top spaces would be your dungeon master. Basically, he's putting that there so you can tell what he's going to do, so that way you're not completely blindsided about how the game plays or whatever. So his 4 is basically showing what's in his hands, what he's using, and then his 4 have to move up 1, and that's the attack space. For you, you only have a 4 because you're using your hand to look at the cards that you have. So whenever you put something down, that's like, this is your playing field of where you're going to attack and where your stuff is. So you don't have that extra field he's got, which is odd in a way, because if you do certain kind of attacks to do a certain amount of damage, it'll hurt one of his cards in the back, but you don't have backup cards like that. And it's kind of funny. I played the whole game and only just now realizing that. It's odd. It doesn't really give him an advantage. It kind of gives you a slight advantage. You can kind of plan ahead on him, but that's a whole completely different thing. Now, going along with the cards is usually you're used to seeing a health point system if you play some of the past games, or not past games, but other card games. This one has a scale, and the scale is set to, say, 5 points. Your objective is you're supposed to be 5 points higher than your opponent, and that's how you beat them. You do that by giving them direct damage. When you have 2 cards in front of each other, they attack each other, and the person with the lowest life and the highest damaging attack is the one that will win. You can't directly attack the dungeon master or your opponent or whatever until there's either no card in front of him, or you have, say, special cards like a flying card, a card with a flying sigil, which will attack directly him. And as he takes damage, depending on how much damage your card does, or depending on how much it goes in the scale, the person, who does 5 more damage than the other one wins. Along with this, you have items that you're given. You find these items sometimes by, say, doing puzzles, or there are certain spots on the board that will give you items. These items can go from giving you extra mana to giving you different ways to attack and defend and such like that. Without spoiling, I'm not going to go into too much of anything, but basically you get 3 items you can hold, and each one of the items can help you in a battle, but they're one-time use items. I think each one of them are one-time use items, and you can get more on the board. Speaking of the board, if you look at the map, if you ever see some of the gameplay, if you're not looking at the gameplay and just listening, there's a map that you're going to each kind of space. Each space can be of a multitude of different things. It can be a battle with him, which another funny thing is when you're battling him, you're not just battling this dungeon master. He decides he wants to change personality sometimes. So you may be going against a trapper or something like that, just that has their own kind of gimmick or whatever. So he's that's why I use Dungeon Master as an example, because he's not just playing himself, he's playing multiple roles of different characters. And along with this, each space gives you a certain kind of thing. There's your combat space, there's your space that they say looks like a backpack. This is where you can get your multiple items that you're given that, are as good as long as you don't, say, lose or whatever. You also have a space where you can power up some of your creatures. I don't know if because it shows that it seems like you could lose your card if you use this. Looks like a fire pit. If you use this fire pit, the dialogue makes it sound like you could lose your card. I've not done it since I was playing, so I don't know if that's really a real thing or not, but dialogue makes it seem that way. So if you decide to do it, just be careful. It's not happened to me. And then you have a space that it's a weird symbol. It's apparently, I guess, supposed to be a sacrificial symbol. This is where you sacrifice one of your cards to combine it to another card. So you have a card that can fly, and say you want to sacrifice your squirrel onto that, so now your squirrel flies. There you go. That's what you've got. And there are other symbols. I'm not gonna sit there and try to go through every single one of the symbols, because you play it, you can see more. This is your example of what you see say, on the board. And throughout, as you're playing, you can get up, you can walk around the cabin, and there's different puzzles you can solve or whatever. In the footage, I tried to stay away from those puzzles, so as not to give anything away. Part of the story, since this is I don't know if I mentioned before, but this is a roguelike game, there's a high possibility you're going to lose. And when you lose, you're given a chance to make your own card. And by making your own card is he looks at you after you've lost, he looks at the deck that you have, and he'll, I suppose it seems like, randomly give you 3 cards. And with these 3 cards, you can choose the cost of the card. After you choose the cost of the card, you choose the attack and defense of the card. And then if your card has a sigil, then it'll take that sigil and put it on that card. So basically, you're combining 3 parts of the card to kind of make your own. Speaking of, I'm not really sure if I explain the other 3 parts or whatever, but I'll go by it. When I say the cost, your card is sacrificed. Like, say, for example, you put a squirrel down, you sacrifice that to put down, say, a stoat, which costs 1 sacrifice or 1 blood. This, if you played cards, any other card game, you've seen this before in some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. And another one with this is you're taught bones. Bones is another cost that any one of your cards die. That say you do sacrifice that squirrel, you're given a bone and a blood at the same time. Some cards can only be sent out by bones. Say opossum can only be sent by bones, the other one can be sent by blood. And there's some that have combinations of the two. So you're basically playing with 2 kinds of decks that you have to learn to kind of build up. And this isn't like any other card game where when you're building up your deck, I'm not saying that you just, switch in one card as you want to. You can't do that exactly. You're given certain cards, and then once you've done that, then you're kind of just going with what they give you. And that's basically how the gameplay works. I'm pretty sure I explained everything, but I actually really, really like this game because it's something different. Like, I compare it to the Pokemon trading card game, but it's like so much more than that. I don't really have any issues. Like, I would talk about the pros and cons of a game, but the only actual con I would say I had an issue with this game is when you get up at some point, there is a rule book that you can read that tells you what each one of these sigils mean. I'm not sure if we really explained the sigils yet, but the sigil is basically like there's a symbol on your card. I think I did explain it, but you'll see a flying symbol, which means you can attack the opponent directly. And there's other ones. There's you sacrifice, say, a cat card or whatever multiple times without it actually being sacrificed, and there's more sigils like that. There's a book that shows you with all the sigils on it, and that's fine and dandy, but there's certain things. For one, if you don't know that book is over there yet and you're just playing the game, it's not explained to you. I think when I first played the game, I lost pretty early on because I didn't know that a bullfrog would block a flying creature, but I didn't know that you can actually attack that flying creature to take it down. I thought that you had to have a block flying to take it down. Maybe that's just me. There's a bit of an issue, but that was really the only thing. I mean, the rest of the game played very well. I played it on PlayStation 5. The controls weren't always very intuitive. Some of them took some time. Like, you probably see in the footage if you're watching, sometimes you see me look up and down. That's not me purposely looking up and down. Sometimes I'm trying to move over to something with the right joystick and I'm pressing the wrong direction or something, but that's just one of the things that happened. The game was made to be played on PC and it was eventually ported to consoles. So I think they did a pretty good job, but sometimes, I don't know. Pros, because I usually talk about the cons and pros. The pros of the game, I could just go on about it. I just enjoyed everything that this game had to offer. I love the design of the cards. I love how it played. It kept me really going. And if you like, what I've explained here, you'll definitely love this game. Like, The boss battles that you do, they're actually really, really challenging. There's a gimmick to each one of the bosses. Did I ever explain the life system? Okay, you have a life system, and I believe you have two chances to really lose, but the boss battle forces you to have one loss. So you really gotta try to beat them in one go. But the issue with that is they get two chances like you had when you walked in there and you lose one most of the time. But each boss has their own kind of gimmick. So as you play, you gotta learn their kind of gimmick. Like I said, this is a roguelike, so you're going to lose. You're gonna try to build your deck up the best you can, and that's just how it goes. And that's just how this game really plays. It's really good, and I can't really talk too much about the rest of the game because there's definitely more to this game than what I've explained. Because I'm trying not to go into too much detail because I still want you to be able to play it, but it goes down a rabbit hole of being a really deeper game than what it seems like. This is definitely a game anybody who likes card games or anything like that should definitely play. I don't really think I've really missed too much of anything. It's just this, I'm really impressed by this game. Like I sat there and played it. I think it took me about 3 days to kind of beat or whatever. That's because it it was kind of difficult. Like I said, I have very little experience with card games, so this was a whole new kind of thought process to try to go through. But once I got onto it, I just couldn't stop really playing this game. Like I would love for them to make like another one or another game of this style, and because I really like this whole card aesthetic and everything that went along with it. But definitely play Inscription if you have a chance to. It's a really, really good game. I can't really recommend it enough. It's really impressive. Like I don't think there's like any kind of demo of it, so if you have a chance to play it, I believe it came out on should be on. I know it's definitely on PlayStation. It's on Steam. I don't quite know about Xbox and such like that, but definitely if you have a chance to play it, definitely play it. You don't have to be a you have to have an interest in card game, but you don't have to be a fan of or have played it before. The game does a very good job of teaching you, definitely better than the way I explained it. But it's definitely fun. You'll definitely get into it. And it's a lot longer game than it seems. You can tell by my gameplay how kind of far I've gotten or whatever. But I tried to cut it off so you don't see too much of it. But definitely give this game a try because I enjoyed it. I played it every single chance I got or whatever, and I enjoyed every second of it. Um, if you like this review, I'm going to be doing another video that's going to be explaining deeper into the game, the stuff that I could not explain here. If you're familiar with this channel, this is my Musing About sections. This is where I do my reviews, my impressions, and my thoughts on the game. I'm doing a gaming motif about this game that explains further down stuff that I could not explain here because I did not want to spoil anything. I didn't want to tell too much anything. Basically, everything I explained here is stuff that you would know when you start playing the game. If say there was a demo of this game and you start playing like 30 minutes to an hour, everything I explained is stuff you would see there. And like anybody, you can pretty much get this by looking at a trailer or watching somebody play for like 30 minutes. You would understand all this stuff right here. But there's a lot more to the game that I did not explain, but I'll definitely be explaining over there because there's a lot I want to say. But I try to keep it spoiler free over here. So that's it. I'll be in the video here, but I appreciate anybody who came by and watched this. I definitely recommend Inscription. I don't do star ratings or nothing like that, but this is definitely a really, really, really good game. I enjoyed it. I love talking about it. I'm going to talk about it more on the other video, but if you can, just play this game. And I would love for this game to have like merchandise, actually have like real Inscription cards. I would probably get some just because of how cool this is, but I'll leave it off right there. Thank you very much. If you are more interested, please go watch the gaming motif that I'm going to do for this, and please look forward to any other video I do after this. This has been one of my Musing About videos. If you like this style, I'll be making other videos in this kind of style. Like I said, minimal editing, just explain what I want to explain and just freehand talk about it. But that's it for this. Thank you very much.